What is up, y'all? It's your boy Shield Sniper. I'm back going to give you another dose of World of Warships. But today we'll be only doing the American ships. Because, mainly because the 4th of July was just a few days ago. So I've already received requests for the Dallas, the Flint, and the USS Wichita. Now obviously for my American cruisers, I'm going to be using Norman Scott. But given the fact that I've just bought the Flint, I'm going to go and do an AI match real quick. Now about the USS Flint. Essentially what the USS Flint was, she was a modified Atlanta-class light cruiser. Sometimes referred to as an Oakland class, she was named after the city of Flint, Michigan. She was launched on January 25th, 1944 by Bethlehem Shipbuilding Corporation of San Francisco, California, sponsored by a Miss R.A. Pitcher. She was and commissioned on August 31st, 1944, with Captain C.R. Will in command. She was reclassified as a CLAA-97 on March 18th, 1949. So, really, she only earned 4 battle stars. Which, I mean, it's a nice looking ship. It's essentially the Atlanta, but lock the guns. As you can see, there's no 2 wing mounted turrets, and you get radar. No, you get smoke instead of radar. Which is absolutely a good thing. Now the firing is the same. Of course I'm using HE. Dang, man, I'm like, oh, she also has the longer torpedo, range.
Smoke screen set. Torpedoes to starboard.
Now normally with this ship you will want to be careful as... Hey boy. What's up? Ooh, come on, come on. Dude, I am loving this Atlanta. Not the Atlanta, but the Flint. Oh, really? Hold on.
The ship is on fire.
Alright, I'm back. Boy. Alright, crap. I do apologize. So, clearly we didn't do too good. Ah, well. That'll be fine. So, yeah, I mean, the Flint, she plays like her sister, the Atlanta. But, it's interesting. So, I mean, she's beautiful. She's a good ship. So, her displacement was 6,718 long tons standard and 8,340 to the max. So, essentially in the wartime configuration, she was 8,340. She has 4 steam boilers, giving her up to 75,000 shaft horsepower. She has 2 geared turbines, so 2 screws. She had 688 officers and enlisted. She has 12 by 5 inch, 127 millimeter or 38 caliber Mark 12 guns. The Flint reported to the 3rd Fleet for duty at Ulithi on December 27th, 1944, and 6 days later sailed with Task Force 38 for a month-long cruise in support of the invasion of Luzon. She screened the aircraft carriers as they launched strikes on Luzon, Taiwan, and the China coast, and fired protective anti-aircraft cover during a Japanese kamikaze attack on January 21st, 1945. She went and got replenished at Ulithi from January 26th to February 10th. Flint then sailed with the newly designated Task Force 38. Huh? Okay then. For airstrikes on Tokyo, preceding the attack on Iwo Jima. And then it just kind of goes into her helping with all that. But, you know, she took part in, I mean, it's a good ship. Very much like the Atlanta. she's a real amazing ship. I mean, it's like, is she worth 12,500? In a way, well, yes and no, because the Indianapolis, which is right here, and we all know the story of the Indy. You know, people say the Missouri ended World War II, but if you think about it, World War II wouldn't have ended as it did if it wasn't for that ship. But, you know, I mean, the Indianapolis herself is worth 12,500. I mean, they're both good ships. I mean, guess it just depends on how you play her. I mean, you know, yes, AI, you know, it's a warm-up, you know, you go and get a new ship, you have to do a warm-up. That's essentially like saying, are you really going to buy a car without giving it a test drive? But, her and the, okay, so, people say that, you know, she's a few guns less. So, here's the Atlanta, okay? They both look the same. Wing turret. So, with the Flint, you know, it's 1944. It's close to the end of the war. They decided to go and take both of the wing turrets off and replace them with anti-aircraft guns, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you know, it's going to save production, and the 2 extra turrets could be used on an aircraft carrier or the Enterprise, given the fact that she herself got shot up multiple times. So, Atlanta, 2 wing turrets, surveillance radar, obviously. USS Flint, CL-97. Same thing, with smoke, but no wing turrets. I love the camouflage. The camouflage is, oof, very nice. But, so, we done the Flint. So, the Dallas. Given the fact we're on the subject of light cruisers, the Dallas wasn't, I don't think she was built. I think she was just designed, and then the U.S. Navy was like, Hold on, let me see if I can pull up the Dallas. Oh, wait a minute. Is she DD-199? No. No, she ain't, because this one was laid down in 1918. Oh. Okay, so Dallas was never built, unfortunately. Would have been nice, but she was never built. Well. Somebody wanted the Dallas, so, you know, a special shout out, you know who you are. You know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I love making these videos. My channel currently stands at 41 subscribers. I'm gonna be honest, I'm trying to make money off of these so I can bring you the content. I mean, it's like I need to get past 10,000 subscribers. I mean, it would be kind of great if y'all could help me with it. I would truly appreciate it. If you can't, I understand. But I mean, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm like Spartan Elite. I know I may not be like Spartan Elite or T-Bull, but I mean, or Tactic Angel, but I mean, it's like, I'm trying. So, you know, if you do go and check out my videos, please press the like button, comment, subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. So, the Dallas. Looks like a good ship. Does a crap ton of fires. Not too bad. We're gonna go and take it out in an AI match real quick. Okay, Trident Domination.
General quarters.
So the one thing I learned while playing this game is you don't want to go straight down the middle, because if you go down the middle, the teams on the right and the left where you're at, they can just go and fire on you dead, whichever way.
The ship is on fire. Enemy destroyer sighted. Enemy cruiser detected.
That's not preferable.
Fighter airborne. Critically damaged. Problem solved.
Ramming speed.
Sunk. Our victory is in sight.
Yeah, no, you don't. You definitely don't want to be doing that. Well. Yeah, there's one ship left anyway. He's... Oh, it's a Queen. Okay. So back to port. I mean, that's the Dallas. I mean, it's similar to an Atlanta by reload time, but at the same time similar to the Pensacola. So, the Wichita. Somebody wanted to see the Wichita. So, wubba dub dub, let's get ready. Yes, I'm using boosters. The Wichita. Oh. I love the Wichita. It's an amazing ship. Like, the Bismarck, and, you know, good luck. I mean, she's similar to the Jean Bar. Like, she's real tanky in the front. But, there was one time I was playing with a friend, and he was in the Iowa, and the Wichita was able to bounce a 16-inch shell. And, I mean, it's like, normally you can't do that, because if you do that, you die. But he was able to. Don't know how, don't know why, but he was able to. So, Alabama.
Battle starts.
Put this thing in reverse. I mean, the turret traverse could be better, I guess, but it isn't. So with the the Wichita is she's essentially a Baltimore, but you get a heal, which is fantastic, to say the least. Oh, hello, Boise. I noticed you popped up earlier, but and the HE in this thing is crazy. Ooh, see, this is why you need a map. This is why you need to be aware. Ooh, that hurt. Gotta get that third turret in there. Also, folks, this is why I'm saying, you know, don't go down the middle. This is why you won't see me go down the middle.
Torpedoes dead ahead.
Because it's a slaughter. Ooh, ooh. Nah, crap.
Hull breach. We're taking on water quickly.
So hoping to get past that one torpedo. But the ship's interesting, to say the least. Very interesting. I'm sorry. Ooh, that hurt. So, yeah, gotta be careful. I'll probably end up doing a different game in the Wichita, because this doesn't seem to be working. Yep. Died by flooding. Terrible. But, so, essentially what the Wichita is, as it sinks, is she's a premium version of the Baltimore. She has the same guns as the Baltimore, but trying to think what's different about her. So let's see if we go and USS Wichita. Okay. USS Wichita CA-45, which is this, was a unique heavy cruiser of the United States Navy. Built in the 1930s, the last American cruiser designed to meet the limits of the London Naval Treaty. She was originally intended to be a New Orleans-class heavy cruiser, accordingly with the maximum main armament of 3 triple 8-inch 203 millimeters gun turrets. These were instead planned on an improved hull derived from the Brooklyn-class light cruisers, which increased arming. This design would go on to form the basis of the later World War II era heavy cruisers such as the Baltimore class cruisers. The ship was authorized by 1929. By the 1929 Cruiser Act laid down at Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in October 1935, launched in November 1937, and commissioned into the U.S. Navy in February 1939. So, she's unique. They went and took 2 cruisers and built it into one. So if we, okay, so it said that the Wichita had the main armament of the New Orleans, so yeah, don't judge me. I'm joking. Feel free to judge, I don't care. So she has the main armament of the New Orleans. I mean, yeah, I see that. But the whole was from a Brooklyn class. Now, ooh, is this still in here? No, it is not. Okay. So the Boise, where is she? Do 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 do. Wait, I think it says in the overview, a Brooklyn class light cruiser. Okay, so the Boise and the Wichita have the same hull. Guess the Wichita's heavier, but the armament packs a bigger punch, I guess. Her namesake was the city of Wichita, Kansas, laid down October 35, launched 37, and commissioned in 39. She was decommissioned on my birthday, but in 1947. So, oh wow. Okay, so officially the Wichita would be an Aquarius. Nice. Following her commissioning, Wichita was assigned to neutrality patrols in the Atlantic. Okay. After the United States entered World War II, the ship saw heavy service throughout the conflict. She was first assigned to convoy escort duty on the Murmansk run in early. God dang, I'm sorry. I don't understand why I keep yawning. In early 1942, and supported amphibious landings during Operation Torch, so the invasion of North Africa. In November 1942, during the naval battle of Casablanca, so she was with 2 destroyers and the battleship Massachusetts BB-59. Wichita engaged several French coastal batteries and warships, including the battleship Jean Bart. Or it's pronounced Jean Bar. I guess the T is silent. Yeah. In 1943, Wichita was transferred to the Pacific Theater, where she remained for the rest of the war. Okay. She frequently provided anti-aircraft defense for the Fast Carrier Task Force during operations in the Central Pacific, including the battles of the Philippine Sea and Leyte Gulf. In 1944, during the latter engagement, Wichita assisted in the sinking of the Japanese aircraft carrier Chiyoda. Wichita was heavily engaged during the invasion of Okinawa, where she provided heavy gunfire support to ground troops ashore. After the Japanese surrender, the ship served as part of the occupation force in Japan, assisted in the repatriation of American military personnel under Operation Magic Carpet. After returning to the United States, she was decommissioned and placed in the mothball fleet in 1946. She remained in reserve till 1959, where she was stricken from the Naval Vessel Register and sold for scrapping in August 1959. Then it just kind of goes into her design, which, okay, her design, I'm curious. Just curious, because she has the hull of a Brooklyn-class light cruiser, but she has the guns of the New Orleans, which I can see it now. Yep, the main armament. If you go and look at the New Orleans, like, you'll see they're similar in some ways, but so we notice that she has some 5-inch, which you'll see mainly on like the Mahan to the Fletcher, which actually, no, those secondaries are the main armament for the Fletcher. They're pretty good. Now, it's interesting because their ship can do two things. You can have surveillance radar, or a catapult aircraft, which you'll be able to have a fighter on your catapult. But I heard that the fighter wasn't real good, so back to no, I'm sorry. But you get 5 of them and only 3 of the radar. But, I mean, you know, her whole number is 45, so I'm not sure what her... And there was only one of the class, because she was deprived from 2 different classes. I also want to give a shout out to my friend Alex Newkirk, aka Little Gucci. Go and check out his channel. So, I mean, that was the USS Wichita. Now, going to take off the boosters, because boosters are expensive, man. You know that. They're expensive. I'm joking. So that was the Wichita. So we've done Dallas, Flint, and the Wichita. Now, given the fact that it was the 4th of July, no, I'm not looking at you, Pepsi Cola. This one. This one's my moneymaker. It's a good ship. But she's the reason that brought the United States together into World War II. USS Arizona BB-39, the last of the Pennsylvanias. And I say that because her sister, even though Pennsylvania herself suffered light damage. So, before we get started, if you go and visit the wreck, you'll see the 2 outer walls of the number 2 turret, minus the roof and the gun barrels. But people are like, well, what happened to the number 1 turret? number one turret is still there, actually, completely unscathed. Well, I can't say unscathed, but given the fact that the water's murky and you can't really see real well. But number one gun turret is still there. They removed the gun barrels from numbers 2, 3, and 4. So, bomb falls between the number 1 and number 2 turrets, goes through a few decks, and lands in the powder magazine. And bomb blows up, ship breaks in almost breaks in half. So the reason that the ship can't be raised is because there's a crack going all the way down to her keel. And if they tried to raise her, the bow would break completely off from the ship. So 1,177 of her crew lost their lives. Now, she was laid down 1914, built, and I guess she was launched in 1915 and commissioned into the U.S. Navy in 1916. During her construction, Secretary of the Navy at the time, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, oversaw her construction, and this ship went along with, trying to think of the name of the ship. It was a cruise ship that took Woodrow Wilson over to France to sign the Treaty of Versailles. Well, anyway, Arizona was there. Arizona didn't engage in World War I because her engines at the time were brand new. So instead of her being a coal-powered ship, her engines required oil, and there was limited oil in Great Britain at the time, so she mostly stayed on the east coast of the United States. She was modernized in the 1930s and placed in the Pacific Fleet. And she was scared, she wasn't even really meant to be at Pearl Harbor on December 7th. She collided with the USS Nevada, and the Nevada, man, that's a tough ship in its own right. It's a shame she isn't on Legends, because I would have gone and done her a review of her already. But she collided with either the Nevada or the Oklahoma, one of the two, and and that's where she was, which is interesting because the Missouri is actually docked where the Oklahoma was all those years ago. This thing hits like a truck. Like, without a doubt, she does. This thing's my main money maker. Which is why you have the 2 million Elite XP. It's a good ship. She's slow, but she's tanky, and she has a good armament. I mean, man, y'all need to go and, if y'all want, comment, ask me what y'all want to view. I'm only doing American ships, so American ships I already have. I'm not doing any other nation for this solely for the purpose that, hey, 4th of July was a few days ago. I would have gone and done this on the 4th of July, but y'all would have heard a dog panting and crying and having a fit. And I didn't want y'all to hear that. But like this thing, you can get some good matches in her. Like some real good matches. And I didn't mean to launch that, but well. So, okay. I've heard this a lot. Some are always like, why are the turrets red? Well, if you're, okay, so the Pennsylvania and the Arizona were similar in 1941. So they were very identical. So what they did was, to distinguish them, they went and had numbers 1, 2, and I guess that's number 3 of the turrets painted red. And this helped greatly if you were up in the air, like in a plane. Shot out. You know, it helped. Ooh. Like I said, this thing hits like a truck. Probably won't do one on the New Mexico, because the New Mexico class came right after the Pennsylvanias. So, essentially, it's supposed to be a better version of Arizona and the Pennsylvania, but it's not. They're both equally the same. Okay, 3,000. Okay. God dang, that's getting annoying. I've actually gone and gotten a devastating strike one time. It was a Hail Mary shot, essentially. It was funny, but... Dang it, I missed my chance on that, all because I had to back up. So, you know, this ship... Ooh. This ship... It's a good ship. She takes her time to turn, but... Okay, I guess I had a little lag there. Yeah, it was lag. God dang it. I mean, it's not a bad ship. It can take damage and punish other people, but... The downside is that, you know, she's slow, but, you know, she's tanky. And that's a good thing. Like, you want a ship that can take a lot of damage. So, I've seen a lot of questions. Like, if you're going to play Tier 5 and you want to get a premium, you know, I've been asked, do I get Arizona? Do I get Warspite? Do I get the Graf Spee? And all I have to say to that is, get a ship that suits you. Get a ship that suits your play style. If you're good with the Arizona, get the Arizona. If you're good with the Warspite, get the Warspite. I've gone up against the Warspite and I've won. So, does that mean the Warspite is less? No. It just means, you know, some of them, you know, you go and the first thing you want to do is buy a Tier 5 premium. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, it's like, you know, even if you bought, so having a premium ship does not make you better. It just doesn't. Because that's essentially saying, oh, well, I went and bought a M1 Abrams and somebody has a Tiger. Are you going to overpin them? Oh, yeah. Because, you know, 105 millimeters versus an 88. Yeah, no, the round's going through, regardless. But having a premium doesn't really make you better. Not going broadside will make it better. You know, angling, you have to angle. Because the Citadel on the Arizona and the New Mexico and the Warspite, the Citadels are located in the middle. Hey! So, I mean, it's, again, this thing is slow, so it's going to take half a century. I mean, it's a good ship. She takes a lot of damage. I've actually gotten my 13th Kraken in her. And you have to get 5 kills. Which, you know, tier 5 is like, okay, sure thing. Tier 4, absolutely. Who's in that New Mexico? Okay. But, I mean, yeah. But, so, with the Arizona, okay, she was destroyed at Pearl Harbor. 1,177 of her crew passed. And, she became the symbol that brought the nation together. Her and Pearl Harbor became the symbols that drove the American war machine into maximum overdrive. It led up to, they both were avenged at the Battle of Midway when the U.S. sunk all 4 of the Japanese carriers. Okay, so obviously the only one I'm gonna be able to target is the Queen Elizabeth. Again, Arizona's a good ship. She can take a lot of damage. My build with her is Sims, because I prefer the accuracy build. She only goes up to 20 knots, so that's not fast at all. It's going to be a pain in the rear, especially like if you don't have good internet. You know, that's going to be a pain, but... Oh, New Mexico. When will you learn? I mean, you'll get a lot of damage off of her, but oh, for Christ's sakes. So it's clear that our team doesn't know exactly what they're doing. Oh, crap on a shingle. I mean, she can turn. Queen Elizabeth, what are you doing, girl? New Mexico, you can wait.
Solved, sir. Torpedoes to starboard. Torpedoes to starboard. Ship it. Waterline. We're flooding quickly.
Well, like I said, you know, this thing can give damage, and it can take a lot of damage. But obviously, I was by myself. I was getting shot at by a destroyer, a New Mexico, and the Queen. So, you know, there's just so much you can take with her. But she's a good ship. But I mean, you know, they're both like Warspite, New Mexico, and Queen Elizabeth. They're equally good. You know, they're all equal. Now, okay, so my build, and this is with all USBBs. Here's William Sims. I have not the one for nuisance, crisscross, marksmanship. You'll definitely need that. Reaching out XXL, and the will to rebuild. I have him completely maxed up to 16, and I am on legendary rank 2. Trying to get up to rank 3. I have Cunningham, and I have Robert Ginjard. And today we're doing the Alabama. Also, no, you can no longer get the 75th VE camo for the Alabama. It was like, I went and paid for it. It was like $30, but I mean, it is what it is. Now, I will say this: the Alabama can and will outpace the Iowa. She's a little bit shorter, thicker, 9x3, 45 caliber, 16-inch rifles. And she can outpace her successor. And she can turn very, very, very quickly. Now, Frenchie does what Frenchie does. It ain't a bad ship. She, with a Norman Scott build, well, not Norman Scott, but with a William Sims build, she can do a lot of damage. There was one point I was actually able, and a sheer luck, because it's almost impossible, unless you're very skilled or really lucky. There's been a time where I was able to get 6 kills in one match in a tier 7.
Concentrate fire on the target.
He's angled, going away. Leon, what are you doing? Boy, these guns roar.
All stations,
1,240.
The ship is on fire. Fighter airborne. Problem solved, sir. The ship is on fire.
Confirmed penetration.
Fighter returning to ship.
What to do, what to do. So many choices, so little time. Another Helena, what joy. Ole. Now, the Alabama is the last of the South Dakotas.
The ship is on fire.
Good internal armoring,
The enemy is about to win.
which is slightly better than the North Carolinas. Her sister, Massachusetts, went up against Jean Bar, knocked her out. Went.
Fighter airborne.
Yep, come on, come on. Nope. Crap. Now I put it out. You never want to burn your damage control on just a single fire. You always want to wait till you have at least 2. And I'm dead. What joy.
Problem solved, sir. The ship is on fire.
Hmm. That was the Alabama. So like I said, Alabama is a South Dakota class battleship. She was nicknamed the Lucky A because she never had a single crew member die in her active career. You can go down and see her in Mobile, Alabama. She is definitely something to be looked at. Sorry. If y'all are deciding whether to have between Alabama and the Tirpitz, I would go with Alabama because she has fantastic torpedo armor or torpedo protection. So we've done Alabama, we've done Wichita. No. I don't know. I'll probably do a part 2. This is just part 1. If y'all enjoy this, please hit me up, give me a shout out. I wish I had more people watching. Alright, peace.